12:09. And what a busy week it is. Hang on one second. I have a tremendous amount of buzzing in my ears and keep that. Okay. That happens all the time. Because we start right at 12 o'clock, the intraday signals come blaring in my headphones. I always forget to turn them on. All right, so let's get started. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about what a week. Now, I won't describe what week we're talking about until we get into it. But yes, it has been a really tough last week, and it looks like it's going to be a huge week this week. And when I mean tough on the soul and the body and the mind. But we're taking strides. We're working very hard to get to these next levels, so we don't have to suffer in the future. We're going to talk about the intraday signals, when and how. I put them out there over the last week or so for people to kind of, for those that know about it. I put some warning on the pages and see, the different things that are going on. And we'll discuss some of those idiosyncrasies that are happening with them and some of the rules. And we're going to kind of dive in that today. Okay, even a little substance in there today. We're going to talk about the DEX trader and the training and branch. And you're going to see what I mean by when I get in there. We'll also talk about DEX signals, senior level working. Now, what this is going to entail a little bit is about those that have already been in the senior levels, like Paul and Michael and a handful of other people. But we're also going to be recruiting more senior level traders, and you'll get some great benefits when you're doing these discounts off of the product. And even some of you that have been here for a while will be getting the product for free on all levels, because that's how much we appreciate what you're doing. And then I'll jump into the final thoughts of the day. So let's get started. What a week this has been. Last week, we had everything. We were just coming out of a holiday weekend, so Thanksgiving was that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know about all of you, but I ate turkey every single day, and was nice and fat by Monday. But it was also the beginning of a NFP week, so we were ending one month and getting into the NFP that same week. So it was a very off week and very off-putting in most cases. Whether or not you were working indicators or signals or what have you, it was a lot of choppiness that was going around. So hopefully some of you heeded some of the warning of not trading during those time periods. Remember, this company isn't designed to give you a path through the trading cycles of every known possibility that is out there. But there is a lot of work that needs to be done in your active patience from that point. You know, sometimes the right shot to be taken is the one that's not taken. Does that make sense? And in order for you to save yourself the heartache and pressure, sometimes it's best not to trade. And when we talk about this in our lessons, in our plans, in our in our senior level trading mentality, we begin to see that there is a more productive value in knowing when exactly to trade. Not so much what to trade every second, but what seconds to trade. And that's where we really start to excel as you begin to take that journey down your senior level two trading or senior trading process as well. You're also going to see that there is a lot to be said to demo trade during some of these times, so you can feel the nuances of that, so you can feel the pressures of that process. So even though that you may not be live trading demo in a feature, you have to sort of shut off one part of your mind, knowing that you're only demoing, knowing that you're only allowing yourself to explore. Okay, this is not the lifestyle you're going to jump into every day. And some of you might find out that you might be pretty good at trading during the news. But again, just like trading 5-minute binaries and 5-minute, strategies, you should be using this stuff for training in the beginning only, nothing else. Okay, because this is what's going to save you from, that heartache that some of you were feeling in the past from other companies you've been dealing with. A lot of things happened last week, like we talked about. But this week we are building everything. We are working a little bit on DEX signals. We're working a lot on DEX indicators. And of course, the big one is DEX Trader. And this is pretty cool because we have let me get rid of this. That looks like be in there. So we got DEX signals, DEX indicators, and of course up top we have the DEX trader. Now this is the one we've been really feverishly working on over the last couple of days. I also have a new programmer, Robert, that's on board with us that we're working with, working on the 5 minutes beta for the DEX indicator strategy indicator that's coming out. Very powerful. Also a DEX indicator for the intraday um, signal that's coming out in that. So we're, I can't even begin to tell you. It looks beautiful. I'll even show you that here in just a little bit. Maybe I'll show it to you after the fact because I don't want to release it outside of beta. But I'll show you in the chat room after the webinar has completed. Index signals, and we'll talk about that here too. We've had a lot of things that we've been working on. The intraday signals have released in that process. Now, ready for some advanced news? Guess what else is coming out in DEX signals? We're going to be building our flag and pennant signals. Yeah, right. Some of you will really like these because these have an at the money feel, okay, with a forex twist, right? So there's going to be a stop loss, there's going to be a take profit, there's going to be a lot of information that's happening in that solution. So you're going to be able to scalp, you're going to be able to do a tremendous amount of work being done by those signals. So we're going to be releasing this part of the process. Um, Hopefully before the new year, before the 21st of this month, we should be able to do something. I'm working with another programmer that is doing some of that work with us as well, and they wanted to be able to take this on for us. And they've been working feverishly on this process. They love what we have done with the industry. And you'll hear about some of that tonight as well. Lots of stuff that we are building this week. I also wanted to share with you a little bit of information and why it's so important about our search engine optimization. SEO work. You know, please don't glaze over any eyes and start foaming at the mouth because I'm not going to go into great detail. But my brother Brian and I developed the process of search engine optimization a long time ago working with our marketing firm. And we became very good at it. And that's how we get a lot of people who come to us. Um, and we don't pay for advertising. We don't pay for these giant Google campaigns that you hear about these companies paying for, and where they spend tens of thousands of dollars. That would just increase the price that we'd have to put on our products. But we work very hard. We're very patient. We've been out now for more than a year and a half, and we have some great positioning on Google and Bing and Yahoo because we cater to the proper way of doing search engine optimization, the old school methods, if you will. And in doing so, why this is so important to you as traders is because the more people that we have come onto the site that find us organically, that want to be here, that want to make something out of trading, that want to be part of a community, if you will, the more people that we have in there, the more things we can build. We wouldn't have been able to build DEX Trader or DEX Indicators if it wasn't for the people that were coming on board. I'm not made of money. I put over $200,000 in this business even before most of you showed up of my own money. So there is a lot to be said for when we as a company focus on the sales side of it, right? Sales is very important. It needs to happen. Okay. I would love to give this system away for free for everybody, but we can't afford to do that. If we want to grow, if we want to build, if we want to turn this industry into something where people can come and work at and learn safely without fear of loss to their money or being ripped off. Now, listen, there's a difference, right? And I hope you folks know this. There's a difference between going and paying for a tool set or learning a system. Okay, we've had a couple clients do this where they've come and they've learned or have seen the tools and decided, you know what, I don't think I can do this. We don't tout that this is for everybody. We know it's not for everybody. But if you came and you spent 87 bucks, or even at the most 147 bucks, to find out this answer, how much do you think you saved yourself in the industry? You know? But most people come and they find that it can be done. If you have a little computer experience, if you have a little patience, if you have a lot of discipline, it can be done. At what levels and where at? If you don't rush it, if you don't add any extra things into it, if you don't try to apply other systems to the programs, And if you follow some of the things that we say, you too can do it. But there's a way of stripping back this model and this thought pattern that, you know, money is the root to all evil kind of process, where it's not. You have some pathways that you've got to get to. And that's what we've really focused on here with the sales and working with our search engine optimization. So we don't have to focus on a bunch of people going out and inviting their friends, not like some sort of MLM. Okay, so this is important. A company that doesn't focus on these two things is a company that won't be around for very long. So you should feel happy about that, that we do consider you in the ultimate success of this company. All right, let's talk about the intraday signals. Some of you seen them come out. Some of you have been paying attention and getting onto those signals. So there is in the DEX signals family, if you will, there was a time when we had um, intraday signals up there, and they were done off of the same way that the dailies were done, with a wide range, a high-low range of that of a certain time period. And we worked very diligently to try to make them the best signals possible. But when we had some of the stuff that was happening before, we wanted to make sure um, that we were going to give you the best signals possible. So we decided that we were going to use our intraday strategy with our trend reverse process and begins to provide the same signal through that as the indicator does over index, because we found that there was a tremendous success rate with that process. Now, before you start thinking 95, 96%, like you hear me trading, that's me personally trading. That's other individuals personally trading those processes. But I want to show you real quickly. Let me get you in here. Desktop. Okay. This is the DEX indicator, or this is the DEX indicator series for the intraday signals. Right. So we took taken the DEX indicator for the 1 hour intraday strategy and applied it into a signal base. Now, when we've done so, we immediately seen, because we filed in information from many months of back testing as well into the series. That's why some of these numbers are low. Right? And but I don't want you to get all heartache here real quick, because we want to give you we're testing. This is all in still what we call the beta, right? And in this beta, what we're looking for, and this is pretty important. What we're looking for is one, what because we're putting it through the motions. We're testing it through news, right? Sorry, hang on one second. We're testing through news, and I know we say never trade news, right? But just bear with me for a second. We're testing through news because sometimes we're looking for that magic acorn, right? We're looking for that magic unicorn, if you will. What can be traded through the news and have a very high success rate? So far, what we have seen, the British Gold Pound USD seems to do extremely well through all of it, news and everything, right? Two, we're looking for a pattern. What works during what periods of time, right? Because we have the strategy tester and we have what we call the DPC, the data processing center that's coming on board, right? We love initials here, right? DPC. So the data processing center is telling us certain things as we're each day that's going on. We're going to keep it in this demo mode and keep it in this beta mode until the end of the year, which then we will start off in the beginning of the year with a shout of these are the best times, these are the best success rates. The data processing center will be up on Dex Trader. All this wonderful stuff will happen. Three, we're looking for what pairs, okay, because outside the pattern, all right, what pairs function the best, okay, and at what times they function the best. We want to be able to come to you and say, hey, listen, the British Gold Pound USD works best between 4 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock in the morning with a 90% success rate. We want to be able to tell you that during these times, these are the best times to trade this particular asset. And the only way we can do that is allowing it to run its course. Now, while it's running its course, folks, you can trade with it. Trading in demo would be smart. And here are some of the rules that I want to work with you on. Sorry, hang on one second. Let me see if I can switch this off. Okay. One of the things that we noticed right off the bat is that when the amount of signals fail, they usually fail in a group, right? In a group time. Look at this, 3 o'clock, and usually because there's a news pattern that's happening at this point. Okay, so one, don't trade news. Two, when they fail sporadically, like something at these 1600 ones, here's one, two, three that happened. We tell people that at any one time, don't trade more than one trade at a time at this point, right? Because one, we don't trade news. Two, we don't trade more than one at a time. So if the signals come out at 10 o'clock, okay, and maybe there's four of them, don't trade all four. And I know later on, at least until we get the data processing center on board, so you can have more information as possible, right? Now, with that, out of those one at a time, choose the highest win ratio that comes out at that time, right? Set yourself into a line of success here, right? If these three came out, right, and this could have been a natural loss, right? 1600, 1600, 1600. Okay. Now, actually, these two would have came out. You could have chose the higher one, and if you chose more than one at that time, you would have lost both of them. But if you just chose one, you would have only lost one, and you would have lost the one that was the higher percentage rate. We understand that. Okay. But in other cases where we have tested, okay, because again, news blocks are avoidance. When you have chose the highest success rate, like let me get these 2100 ones here. I can't seem to find an example right now. So I got to go back pretty far. Um, Here we go right here. So here's one right here. There's the British gold pound at 1600, 1600, 1600, 1600, and 1600. If you chose the highest rate one, which was 89% here, the British gold pound, you would have won instead of losing if you would have chose any one of the others. You see, so choose the one that has the highest success rate. This will save you a large percentage of the time on those packs that lose. Of course, Norton's will be the biggest one that'll help you. Which also brings me down to my last point. The news restriction add-on, okay, is going to be applied in the new year. And what I mean by this is that we have from our friends over at Forex Factory, we have a news avoidance system. And what this means is that we can apply this to our signal base, and it will only when Forex Factory says these two news processes are happening, it will not release a signal until a certain, and we deem that within the system as prior to and afterwards. So it will not release a signal during those times. Now, good news, bad news. Good news is you won't have to see all that information. We'll still see it and have it, right? It won't release the signal, but it will still give us the results because we're looking for data, right? We're data hounds. But you're going to get less signals, but higher success rate. It's really, really important. All right. And we'll go into questions and answers on the intraday signals from this point. Now, keep in mind, too, the daily signals are still kicking ass. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the daily signals, but the daily signals are still doing extremely good. And in fact, there are a couple of them. The Audi JPY, you seeing this? 100% over the last 100 trades. Okay. I think there's a handful of other ones. USD CHF. Now, can you imagine on something like this, right? If you see 100% over the last 100 trades, okay, and this just keeps going, anything that's below 20 pips or less is an automatic winner. So it's filling probably about 20% of the time, right? And it may not seem like a lot, 20% out of 100 signals, only 20 times. You got to be kidding me. If you're doing a working order on the process and it's filling 20% of the times, what harm is it to put a working order on? If you have the funds to be able to cover the working order, then why wouldn't you just do it? And if you only filled out 10 a week from that, adding CVG to the process is what's going to make you get to your goal. So there's a great opportunity, some very low risk at that point. So what do you have to lose? So if you're waiting between intraday stuff, right? And of course, listen, with the DEX dailies, there is part of the process that this is trading right through news, right? We don't have a news avoidance system on the daily. You just let it go. Look at these numbers. Look at these. I don't think there's one below 95% here. Look at that. That is crazy. Of course, one loses right here when I put it up here. All right, there we go. 1 second. So even if you went down this list and during a session period, you just went after every single one of them, and you could even look at the ones that have like that are below 40, filling in with a choke up and all that stuff. Why wouldn't you be putting your time in? Should be your save all. When you can't trade on a 5 minute or 1 hour or what have you, what are you doing with the dailies? Are you doing anything with the dailies? I challenge you that if during the week you don't have a really good feel on trading, jump into the dailies and start doing working orders. And it may be inundating, it may be tiring for you to just sit down at the computer for 5 minutes every hour or every 3 hours and sit down for 5, 10 minutes and put a bunch of working orders on. But what do you really have to lose? At these kind of rates, not very much. Even if you only had 10% of them fill out of 100, what is it going to take you to fulfill those 10 trades out? If you're using 5, 6 contracts at a time, holy crap, you had a pretty damn good week there. All right, let's move on. Next trader. You're gonna yell this word from the ceiling. Data, 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 because it could be your best friend and it could be your worst enemy. Trust me. When you're trying to find a company that can supply you data frequently, it is so difficult because these guys, I gotta tell you, I'm, I'm distraught over this industry because at every turn you find somebody who does this. And I don't want to show you the actual email, but on day one of dealing with this company, we're just going to call this AB company. An AB company says, we're going to give you the data. What do you need it for? "Oh, I'm building a program." Oh, great. Yeah, the data costs $750 a month. And this is expensive. Okay? You're like, holy crap, that's not too bad. Okay, for what we're about to do, yes, it is expensive, but for what we're about to do, it's worth it, right? And then we sign a contract, we sign the contract, we sign all the security protocols, and we get the first process of data happening. Yay for us, right? And then because we have attached our system to their data, they get to see what we're building, and that's why we have an NDA. Sorry, we have an NDA. In fact, we have a mutual. It's an MNDA, right? And since we signed this with them, they can't tell anybody what we have. We can't tell anybody what they have. But all of a sudden, there's a provision in the contract that says before we go live and have live data, we have to agree on a final monthly amount. And this 750, you ready for this? With the 4,500 a month. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine that happening anywhere else? Sitting down at your dinner, sitting down at a diner or something, and it says $4.50 for a cheeseburger, and then all of a sudden they bring it out, you eat it, and, and then they tell you you owe them 27 bucks because they didn't count in the usage of your napkins. Yeah. So very frustrating, especially since they have a very priority system for development, and we had to develop our data streaming system through that. They were delivered, for that solution. So we've been hunting out data for the longest time, and we finally found a way to do it. And you realize that we have in everything that we have done and built that we have, if we can't find it, we build it. So we built our own data series. Right. Yeah, we built our own data series. And I can't tell you how, but what I can tell you, yeah, I mean, I do believe in transparency, but let's be real. There's a part of this that I can't give you every secret detail of our company. But let's just say that basically we built a relationship with the market itself. And when we had done so, we created our own server of data, right? And our data now feeds our own system of DEX signals, DEX indicators, and soon DEX Trader. Yep. And this only cost me 174 bucks. Defeat all crazy, right? Well, that'll teach you. Don't tell me it can't be done and then charge me more. That's crazy. So that's basically what we have done. So the data system and the strategy and all that stuff for Dex Trader should be releasing in alpha. This will be released in alpha by tomorrow night, and we'll be reveling in it. I won't be inviting everybody. Some seniors will be in there. Myself, Ryan, and Amy will be in there testing and doing a few things. Um, and then we're starting on phase two tonight because the alpha is really done. I just have to get it housed in a proper format and restrict it through the access trader for the membership system. So it will be ready. Okay, it will be ready for a handful of you. Remember, some of you are getting this stuff for free, so we're not asking you to pay for any of that extra stuff in there. And if you've increased your membership from a pro membership to the max, the Dex Signals membership, then you get Dex Trader for free and a whole bunch of great stuff in there. So lots of stuff happening. Um, so phase two will be starting now. That in phase one, remember we have the signals and we have the chart. We won't have a bunch of our Dex indicators on it yet. So please keep that in mind. That's coming in phase two and three. Okay. The charting system as well is a little tough because it is not set to remember all the things you put on it. So if you put a bunch of things on it, you mark it up, you do a whole bunch of things to it, it's not going to remember anything in this first phase. So if you refresh the screen or you do whatever, it's going to forget that. And you can take snapshots of it and save it for yourself and those kind of things. But I can tell you what's coming for that is very powerful because we have a complete user interface coming in phase two and three that it'll be able to house and remember all your information and bring it's crazy, right? But it is very profitable for you to have all that information. So in this first phase of release that's going to happen for DexTrader, keep in mind that we're not going to have it to where it's going to remember all the charting information. The signals are developed under a web-based format, and they match up perfectly what's already being released for our MetaTrader 4 system, which is very uh, um, positive for us because we've really gotten the algorithm down for both of those. We do have some nuances happening with the intraday that some signals are being released out on a different time frame than they should be, but we're fighting with that as well. So to be able to get that in for the web-based platform. We're also going to be adding in the Dex Trader a few other strategies. There's the London breakout, there's the sausage sushi technique on a time-based emergence. There's a few other things that we're going to name them what the strategy is normally is popularly called. So as we begin to get out there in the world and finding all these other strategies, we're going to be adding some of these strategies to the Dex Trader platform. There's also going to be, which I didn't put it into the graphic here, a solution for Forex trading. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. Um, there's going to be some Forex training that's going to be happening, knowing how to use some of these other platforms. So we're very excited about this solution coming up. All right, so let's talk about this in our relationship with all of you. Some of you have heard us talk about elite traders and senior traders, and we pull back a little bit on advancing anybody into elite or senior trading because it really is about your involvement with the company, seeing you in the chat room, helping other people, asking questions, being a part of it, getting to live, getting to trading, that kind of stuff. But we are going to get back into that in an active mentality because I'm going to be bringing on the seniors into a system called Basecamp. And I'm going to be inviting some of you seniors that in the very beginning, you're just going to get the systems for free. You're going to get certain things for free. And we're going to help you help others through that process. And we're going to grow you up to these levels to where you're senior level two and then master trader, of course, where I'm getting to. I'm not even there yet, but I'm getting there. And I'm putting qualifications down for this process to happen for us. Will also be times or also be opportunity for you to grow into partnerships with us as well if you want this to. There is a tremendous amount of opportunity that once we get Dex Trader and Dex Signals and Dex Indicators, us as an organization will begin to thrive, not just using the tools that are in front of us, but also from the company itself. So this will be something that will be very powerful for all of us. Because once you start to learn the solutions and learn how to trade and get to those goals, these tools will be nothing for you to be able to. So we really look forward to it. There are many advantages of climbing the ladder with us, and you can profit immensely. But it does take work. It does take. I'm not just going to get in and be making $1,000 tomorrow. So there is work to do. So if you're willing to climb that ladder with us, we'll get you into the elite status. If you're not already a senior, we'll get you into elite status and you'll work your way to senior. But there'll be certain things that we're going to ask of you to test out, on what to trade or how to trade, what's the rules, where everything is at. Do you know where everything is? So a little bit more of customer service and chat and those kind of things to be able to help us grow this company. Because the more people we have in here using the systems, touting them and telling the world about them, the better we are. And our final thoughts for today, before we get into questions and answers and some of the show me stuff. Oh dear, seems like it. The path in front of us is always riddled with obstacles. And some of you, those obstacles have stopped, not just in us, but metaphorically, throughout all of our lives. And it's difficult to find out what is the best way to handle these obstacles because sometimes, one, you just don't know. Right? You might run up against something that you don't think anybody can help you with, so you just disappear from it. If you find yourself in one of these processes that stop you, that creates an issue for you, okay, and you've put some time in to really try to figure it out, I want you to write into us, call me, set a schedule, book some time. One of the things that I pride myself on is troubleshooting and finding solutions for people. I might have a solution for you. Okay, so no matter what it is, because you're part of this company, because you put the time in, let me see if I can help. Okay? So if I have the time, I'll make the time for you. You already know that. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't. If I really didn't want to help people, I wouldn't be taking phone calls and booking times and doing all that stuff. So I put my money where my mouth is. Okay, so if the path in front of you is littered with a whole bunch of things, then we got to really talk and kind of find out how do we declutter. But as we, as a company, build the path in front of us, it's going to get easier and easier and easier for those of you that have put your time in. I also have to become focused on a position of the company that and leads me to the next point too, that there is only one of me. And I can't be doing little bits of everything. I have to be focusing on what I'm very good at. And that's the motivating, the trading, the finding the trend, the finding the pattern, defining the network itself. So I'm going to sit in the middle of this process, but I can't sit there alone. There's many of you that have to sit in that process with me, share with that load that's coming. Trust me, folks, it's coming. I always had this statement: be careful what you wish for, right? Because you will get it. Asking a universe or God or whatever for $1 million, if you're not prepared for it, that shit's going to land right on your head. You'll be dropped out of a Wells Fargo plane in a big giant pallet, and it'll hit you right in the head. Yeah, you got your $1 million, but you didn't get it the way you thought. And success has the same way of sneaking up on you too. And if you're not prepared for success, what do you think will happen? You'll be tested and you'll fail. You'll fail if you're not prepared. Gladly enough, you got somebody here who knows what failure feels like. I've been through it plenty of times. I had a company in here for a while for dealing with Our City Radio and marketing firms and MLMs and everything. I've been trying for a very long period of time to make things that could help people. And they don't always work. Not everything does. This is the first thing in trading and helping people that I feel confident has that solution. We're there. I'm not going anywhere else. I've stapled myself to the wall to make all of this work. That's why we're all here. That resilience from me, resilience from you, those that have been here for a while, those that are just starting out, that you'll become this type of. This company cannot only succeed. People that we have in this circle, those of you that are on that room, those of you that want to be more, you're the reason success. Just about. the new year, 2017, I don't want to be one of those glory hounds that are like, the new year's going to be the best year ever. And I'm going to tell you this, that starting January, getting through this holiday and getting through Dex Trader being released, and second and third phase, by the second and third phase of Dex Trader, there's nothing that can ever stop us. That build had such a solid foundation that we can trade anything. And Forex is just, the binary Nadex and Forex is just one part of it. Indices and commodities, actual stock. That's what's coming. A regulational application that we got to go through is huge. So we have an opportunity in front of us. Is a pathway that we've all created, all doing our. That new year, this year that's coming, is what's going to set us up, working for the next 12 months from today, and challenging, working the next 12 months today. Where will you be at for the rest of your life? I'm going to be taking care of those because I can't get and unlearn what I've already learned from all of you and this system and use it every day. Right? All right. So I want to thank everybody. If you're watching this after the fact, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your busy day, joining us here. Because of you, that we are successful. It's coming here is your responsibility as well. You can only build you. Everybody else that's hanging out in the chat room, please stick around. We've got a lot of stuff to discuss and show you, and any questions you may have. My name is Max Farrell. This is Debt Signals. Thank you again.